Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, depending on your time zone. This is the USMLE SOAP team. Today, we'll answer your questions on SOAP. So, we've received a lot of questions, and this is where people start preparing for SOAP. So, we thought we'll talk to you and answer some of the questions about SOAP that you may have. Let me give you a brief background on what SOAP is and how you can prepare for SOAP. So first, what is SOAP? So most of you know that SOAP is the Supplemental Offer and Acceptance Program, and this helps IMGs and even AMGs, so all of you who go unmatched during the main match, right? So this is where the unmatched residency positions are filled for the unmatched applicants, and this happens in the SOAP week. So in 2022, the SOAP week starts on Monday, March 14th, and it ends on Thursday, and by Friday you will know where all you are going. So we'll talk about the entire calendar, and we'll talk about how you can prepare well, and some of the tips and experiences based on our students. So USMLE SOAP students who have matched in the previous seasons, and even in the last season we had a few visa seeking IMGs match in SOAP. So we'll talk about all that. And now of course this season, like the last season, is different in the sense all interviews were virtual. There were fewer cancellations, so therefore people are still uncertain on whether they'll match. Programs are uncertain, how many to interview, so on and so forth. But it is a reality that number one, IMGs do tend to match in SOAP. Number two, it is hard. So SOAP is not as easy, so it'll always be tough, but we will give you some ideas and strategies that can help you. So first, in terms of the eligibility. Now even before I get to the eligibility, all of you who are registered with nrmp, you will get an email on Friday, which is 11th of March, that you are eligible for the eligibility status for SOAP. Now this email has no bearing to whether you match or not. This just says you are eligible, and a lot of students freak out. They think they have not matched, and therefore they are getting the SOAP eligibility mail on a Friday before match. That is not the case. It is just about whether you are eligible or not. So the first thing, of course, all of you need to do is register with the nrmp for the main match. Unless you register with nrmp for the main match, you will not be able to go into SOAP. That's the first thing. And of course, to go into SOAP, you should either be fully unmatched or partially unmatched on the Monday, on 14th of March at 9 a.m. Eastern or so, when you get that email that whether you've matched or unfortunately you didn't match or partially matched. So you can only be either fully unmatched or partially unmatched to be eligible for SOAP. Now, what is fully unmatched? So fully unmatched is clear enough. This is you apply to whether it's internal medicine, family medicine, or whatever various specialties you applied to, you did not match. So that is fully unmatched. Partially unmatched is something that you applied to both prelim positions and advanced positions, and you matched in one of those. So for example, if you are applying for neurology, or you may be applying for radiology, general surgery, etc. So 1 year position and the advanced position. So if you match in one or the other, then you are eligible. So if you have matched in a prelim, not in advanced, then you will be eligible to apply to advanced. And if you have matched in advanced but not the prelim, so you will be eligible as part of the SOAP to apply for the prelim position. So one or the other. And of course, if you are unmatched, you can apply to all positions. The SOAP will begin on March 14th. So after you get the result that you have, say, not matched or unmatched, then that's when you can start preparing your applications in the ERAS system. So the system remains the same. You cannot make changes to your CV, so you apply through the same AMC My ERAS system. If you fully matched, then you will not have access to the list. So the list of programs which are going in SOAP is made available only to the applicants who have not matched. So if you're matched, you are done. You don't have to worry about anything. Only if you have not matched, then you can get that list. Then SOAP is held in 4 rounds, so all rounds will end on Thursday of the match week at around 9 p.m. Eastern. So you can apply during these rounds and you will have about 2 hours to accept the offer if the program gives you an offer. Total you can apply to 45 programs. So before we get into the the various strategies, I want to make sure you are clear on the calendar, and this is available on the NRMP website now. So Monday, March 14th is when SOAP begins at 9 a.m. and if you, like I said, are eligible for SOAP and you have not matched and or partially unmatched, you can begin preparing your applications at around 10 a.m. Eastern. Then on Tuesday, which is March 15th, the programs which are participating in SOAP will begin reviewing your application. So they do not get your application till Tuesday. So you do have that entire 1 day to work on your application, and I'll talk about what exactly you can work on your application, what can change, what cannot change, etc. And then of course, once they begin reviewing your applications, they can start contacting you for interviews after they have reviewed your application. So the interview process can start on Tuesday, it can go Tuesday, Wednesday, even Thursday. So, and Thursday is when those rounds actually happen. So they make you an offer, you got 2 hours, say yes, no, move on. So first round between 9 and 11 a.m. Eastern on Thursday, then from noon to 2 p.m. Thursday is the second round, and 3 to 5 p.m., then 6 to 8 p.m. And 9 p.m. is when it ends on Thursday. All this calendar is there. So now let's talk about what can or cannot change in the SOAP. So first, your application cannot change, but your letters of recommendation, you can actually upload new letters for SOAP. So if you have done rotations after you applied in the main match, so let's say you applied around 29 September and you've done rotations or research or something to improve your application, get the LORs from them and you can upload them and use them for SOAP. Then of course there is a limit for 45 programs that you should all be aware. You cannot apply to more than 45 programs. That's all that you can apply to. So be careful in terms of how you pick the program. If you are, for example, partially matched to advanced, you cannot apply to any other program, only the prelim. And if you are matched to prelim, you can only apply to advanced programs, so no categorical programs for you. And if you're fully unmatched, of course, you can apply to categorical, prelim, advanced, everything. The other thing you should be aware of is, of course, you will have a personal statement. So if you apply to internal medicine in the main match, you obviously have that personal statement. But if you are changing specialties or you think you will change specialties, those are the kind of personal statements that you should start thinking of. So let's say you think you will be applying to pediatrics, but you have not applied to pediatrics in the main match. Then now would be the time to start putting together that application or that personal statement, just because you will have very limited time in the SOAP to prepare a new personal statement from scratch. There may also be times when you have a program in SOAP where you interviewed and then you're thinking, oh, I interviewed at that program and that has come up in SOAP. Should you apply to that program? And the answer is yes, you definitely should. I mean, they've seen your application, and why not, if there is a probability that you can match there. One of the main things you also have to understand is do not initiate contact with the programs during SOAP. When I say initiate, means you cannot begin the contact. You cannot say, okay, I see this program in SOAP, I know the program director email or coordinator email or phone number, let me just call them and for an interview. That is a violation, and NRMP takes this very, very seriously. What you can do, of course, is after you have applied, if the program has contacted you, then you can take up that communication, then you can call them or do whatever you want, but do not initiate any contact with the programs during SOAP. So wait for them to get in touch with you if you are interested. Then the other thing is remember that if you do not register for NRMP, you cannot be eligible for SOAP. Even if you have no interviews, you should be registering for NRMP if you want to be eligible. So no interviews, doesn't matter. For SOAP you have to really register. And like I said, personal statements for various specialties should be ready if you plan to target during SOAP any specialty that you plan to target. As an IMG, you will always have better chances at smaller hospitals, community programs, not so much in SOAP in a university program. A lot of university programs you will see have the prelim positions open. That always happens, and most of it is to fill their own med school students, etc., their own internal applicants. It's not that you cannot apply, you can obviously apply, but your chances are higher in an affiliated program. The other thing is, for those of you who have home country residency or those of you who have actively worked in another specialty, you should also consider those specialties to apply for in SOAP. So for example, you may have a home country residency in pediatrics, but in the main match you did not apply to pediatrics, so you should consider applying to pediatrics in the SOAP. That could help you. A lot of students do apply to prelim positions and get the interviews, but in that case you have to have your PG2 plan ready. So prelim positions are not geared for, say, I want to do internal medicine in PG2. That's not the answer that they are looking for. So make sure that you have a plan ready to go in. If they interview in prelim, are you interested in neurology or something else? That's something that you should be doing. Okay. And then in terms of the typical questions that you can expect in a SOAP interview. So obviously, why this specialty you should know, right? They will also be very curious to know why this program, why this city, especially if it is a smaller city, why you didn't match, so on and so forth. So those are the type of questions you should be aware of, that you should be prepared for. And of course, on our website we have a list of questions that Dr. Reddy from our team, he can post in the group our URL, and you can go through those questions as well if you are interested to know more about the type of questions that you could be asked. So prepare those questions, especially because why this program, which you may have never heard of, you just randomly applied, those kind of things. Of course, the programs can contact you anytime, generally 8 to 9 a.m. Their time zone till about 5 to 6 p.m. their time zone. So if you are working outside the country, etc., make sure you make yourself available during those times. Needless to say, you need to have a US phone number, a good internet connection. All this will be virtual, all interviews will be likely on one of these platforms which are now very common, Zoom or something else, but they could also call you. So having a US number really helps. Okay. If you are in a city and you see the SOAP, in SOAP, that program opens up, or you're local, you obviously will have a better chance in SOAP in that city of yours. One question, can we individually assign LORs like the main match? Yes, you will have to assign LORs, and that is why I said if you have new LORs, you can take those, and just it shows to the program that you've been active. So you can apply individually, you can assign those LORs. Second question is your recommendation for categorical candidates of I am not finding categorical place. So that's a tough one. Categorical IM positions may be limited in match. In that case, your best shot is either see a specialty that you like, so maybe FM for example. If not, prelim position is there, but prelim, like I said, comes with two kind of risks. So if you match in prelim and you need a visa but you don't match in advance, that's a bit tricky, because then you really need to find an advanced position within 1 year. And second, in the interview you really have to be able to convince them on what specialty you are planning to approach, because the prelim interviews are not about categorical IM. That's where the trick is. But you're right that categorical IM is harder in match. Is there extra cost for SOAP programs? No, it is part of the nrmp registration, so you do not have to pay extra for SOAP. Those are some of the things that you should be prepared. We have a lot of blogs on SOAP on our website. There are some YouTube videos also that we have done, so you can go through all of those. Then good luck to all of you. I hope all of you match in the upcoming this season. Thank you. Bye.